to. Where do you think you were going? As an aperture science test subject, you must learn how we record and observe data. This demonstration will be played out in this college students podcast, so please pay attention. Also, I'd watch out for a bottomless pit beneath your feet.
Coursework, financial aid, followers, copyright strikes, and more. You are listening to the Life of a Content Creating College Student podcast starring Wayne Z0207 and Charlotte Waite.
Good evening, folks. My name is Colton W. Hurst, also known as Wayne Z0207 on the internet, and I welcome you to this podcast. Charlotte Waite was unable to attend this podcast episode today, so I will be filling in as the host and the co-host for this episode. And in replacement, I've also found my guest for episode 7. I'm going to introduce my mom, also known as White Lightning 65 on the internet.
Hello, folks. I hope you're having a wonderful evening. I'm so proud to be here with my son tonight.
Yeah, I'm so glad you're here, Mom. And White Lightning 65 was a member of Hearst Entertainment's staff before this podcast even came into creation. 2.5 years. Or 2 years, I suppose. Isn't that right?
That's correct. I was also known as the Distractor.
The Distractor. Oh, that brings back memories. I always liked those 1-minute distraction segments. But they kind of got wacky at times.
Well, took me a couple hours to get ready for that 1 minute sometime.
You're speaking a bit quiet.
Sorry.
Don't worry about it. I know it's sometimes strange to be a little bit shy, but just know it's natural. Okay?
Okay.
Okay, so what we're going to be doing is you're going to be asking me a series of questions based on my content creating college student experience. What it's like to be both.
What do you find to be the most challenging aspect of going to college?
Well, I'd say trying to fill out for scholarships and balance out the coursework at the same time. But there's actually a format that we have to go through in this episode. And it's the 5 questions listed. You have them in your hand.
Okay. This is a surprise.
So we usually start out with 2 things that went well this week. So actually, as our guest, you will have the opportunity to share your similar experience. So to start out with, 2 things that went well with this week. For one thing, I did get plenty of social interaction this week. For starters, I talked to the same 2 girls that bought me some more mints. Their names were Abby and Kaylee. I got to know them a little bit more, and from the looks of things, they like to go snowboarding in their spare time. I even learned they've been to the Lake of the Woods before. I also learned about one of my chemistry classmates, Isabel. There's basically been a lot of social interaction between me and the other students.
That's wonderful, son. I'm glad you're reaching out and meeting new people.
Yep, that is a fact indeed. I made it for my New Year's resolution. Remember?
Yeah, I remember. That was a great resolution.
Yes, it is. And I'm still feeling pretty good about Valentine's Day. What do you have to say about it?
Well, I hope everything goes your way.
Yeah, thanks, Mom. But do you have any similar experience?
For Valentine's Day?
Yeah, just in social interaction. Just trying to get to know people.
I've seen a lot of Valentine's Day.
Oh, man. Can you tell me about it?
Well, the best memories were getting cards in school.
Nice. So, what exactly did you write in one of those cards?
Be my Valentine.
Ah, yes, the classical phrase. I mean, needless to say, that is quite a classical phrase. But I think I'm going to be unique in my own way, if that makes sense.
It makes perfect sense.
And then I learned how to TIG weld, and at least I understand the physical aspect to a degree. Still rough around the edges, but I can get additional instruction from my instructor and other resources once that I can arrange them. You remember Clint's Cowboy Cuisine, right?
Oh, yeah, who could forget it?
Yep, indeed. So, it's been a while since you had interacted with him before, huh?
It has been a while.
Yeah. How long do you think?
Oh, probably a month?
A month, yeah. He's pretty busy.
Yeah.
Yep. Any contact with him?
I've had lots of
Quiet again. Oh my goodness. I think it's part of due you were facing away from the mic.
Yes.
So anyways, why don't we make this conversation a little more natural? So, when was the last time you got into a conversation with him?
Probably yesterday.
Could you tell me the story about it?
Yes, we were discussing your school schedule.
Wow. Is that it? Can you go into a little more detail?
I was asking questions about your welding class versus the days you dress up. This must be difficult to change from one attire to another.
Yes, if I am doing a speech, I would have to bring a change of clothes to ensure that I am fancy for that speech.
You carry around so much gear. I wonder if other college students do too.
Some of them do, but I don't see them carrying as many bags as me. I'm typically more busy than the others, if you get me.
Well, I think you could be better organized and carry less weight.
I wish I could do that, but maybe with a little bit of help.
Yes, I think you need some help in that area.
Well, maybe you could show me later? After the podcast, perhaps?
Probably another student or one of your assistants could help you with that.
Yeah, fair point. And plus, you got other things to attend to, don't you?
Well, I'm thinking maybe some of the other students figured it out, and that's why they're not carrying as much.
Oh, okay. That kind of makes sense.
They probably have dorm rooms too.
Yeah. I have met some of the dormies at Oregon Tech.
And how different is their life and social interactions?
Well, for one, they have roommates. And they do have to come up with a compromise. Like some ground rules, as well as times to hang out.
And study times?
Oh, yes, study times. That's why they set those ground rules. So that way they have their peace and quiet whenever they do have to study. But all in all, these things help me grow. I learned that although things do take time, things do improve, even your skills. I also forged a bond with the two girls from the Speech 111 class. I have 2 additional people with whom I can get some help on future speeches. That bond can only grow with time. Kind of amazing how popular I've grown.
You are so likable and kind.
I know, Mom. So, on to question 2, which is about the setback that I've come across this week. I still feel a bit down from this week from previous week. It wasn't as bad as it was, but the bad feeling still lingers. The fact that it took me a little bit to adjust to TIG and learn the technique only added to my misfortune. Needless to say.
Well, I'm glad you're finding coping skills and the help that's available to you from family, friends, and school advice.
Oh, yes. That is so important. I never would imagine how far I would have gotten without the support that I've received. Don't you agree?
I do agree.
Wasn't there something that you couldn't have done without support?
Lots of things.
Can you tell me one notable one?
Well, getting through my fears.
I'm sure that took a lot. It did take a lot, didn't it?
Yes.
And don't get me started on an atmosphere.
The only thing you have to fear is fear itself.
Yes, indeed. Fear is a bit of a... How do I say this? Can you put it into words that I can describe?
Fear is of the unknown.
Yes, it is complex.
We always fear the unknown, unfamiliar.
Oh, yes. I can already tell. And God knows how much pain I'm going to go through if I have to play Atmosphere again. Only he knows.
That is a challenge.
Yeah. And I'm going to need collaborators if that wheel lands on the Atmosphere live stream.
Okay.
And then one thing I could take away from this. Well, all I could say is don't let one mistake ruin your day. Things can always get better when you don't realize it. That is what happened through welding this week. But on the bright side, I did have someone to talk to before I went into the welding shop. But what did I do as a college student with this week? Well, in Chemistry 204, we did an experiment revolving around the decomposition of chlorates. Before we went into the lab, we had to do a pre-lab before starting the lab. One of the tasks it asked the students to do was make a hypothesis, just like in the scientific method. I hypothesized that potassium chlorate, the polyatomic ion we were working with in the lab, would decompose into oxygen gas, one of the three factors required for combustion to occur. Surely enough, what confirmed was hypothesis was when the potassium chlorate bubbled. Can you guess what happened next?
You had a fire.
No. It could have happened. But in actuality, it evaporated into gas. And boiling allows gas to evaporate from a substance. If we recall, O2 is an oxygen gas. As a result, the chlorates evaporated with a little bit of electricity. Oh my goodness. As a result, the chlorates evaporated oxygen gas, confirming my hypothesis. I was reading off the MFG. Please do excuse me.
Oops.
During MFG 103, we dove into TIG welding. We finally experimented with a little bit of electricity. Once I mastered the technique, I was invested in it. Oh man. That was a mean weld that I made. You saw it, didn't you?
I did. And it looked pretty awesome.
You must be so proud of me, aren't you?
I am very proud.
And you must know Clint's Cowboy Cuisine is proud of me as well.
Oh, certainly do.
That was one of the things he was, in some sense, an engineer. Before he went into his carpentry work, or even volunteered alongside me in helping me promote my content creating endeavors, he was an engineer.
Of the barbecue?
No! He worked with tanks and helicopters.
I know.
Anyways, in Math 111, on the other hand, we finally started talking about function. Yeah, we started talking about functions. We made it to more interesting topics, some that I haven't covered before. This will only motivate me to improve my skills even more. But, however, there is a way I can enhance my studies. This is something I've always done. Attend class every day. There's always an interesting topic that is inputted into the course schedule. There's always something new you can learn. And attending each lecture is important because it could make a difference in your course success. You never went to college, did you?
I enrolled, but didn't get to attend.
Oh, shucks. But what happened instead?
I wanted to go, so that's why I enrolled. But I wound up taking a secondary education course, and it was teller training.
Ah, teller training.
And from there, I grew within the company I worked for.
In which we did get plenty of notoriety there.
Yes, and I became a loan officer, and I did new accounts, and all kinds of hats I wore.
Wow, that was quite an experience, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
Hey, do you remember back in my childhood all those meetings we went to?
Yes, I do.
What was the most memorable prize I won?
Probably. I was gonna say the, what was it? A Xbox?
Yep, you read my mind.
That was Dornbecker's Children's Hospital.
Oh,
Credit Union for Kids.
I see. That actually reminds me. In speech 111, I also did my manuscript speech.
You did?
Yes, I did. And it was from 2 years old, my story from 2 years old to where I am today. Needless to say, I'm proud with how it turned out. I did get plenty of confidence for that. And I'm still getting confidence now, especially when I'm recording when there's feedback playing. That's what's making me so nervous.
Oh, I gotcha.
Yeah, it's a bit of a weird feeling for me. It's kind of weird hearing myself while speaking.
This is the first time for me. And it's awkward.
Yeah.
But
it
fun. We can make fun.
Yeah. Yeah. If you might recall from the previous episode, folks, we did have a blooper with the microphone filter. In fact, I wish to address the microphone filter. I've been working on a filter for the microphone for the podcast and any future content creating endeavors. I had to look up another tutorial because in the previous episode with Ken McGill and Claire Peterson as our guests, the microphone recorded little to no audio, making us nearly inaudible for the audience back at home.
Maybe that'll happen this time.
No. If we aren't hearing ourselves, that certainly ain't gonna happen. If you don't know, we're using wireless earbuds, so that way it doesn't pick out into the mic. So anyways, if the microphone is still not recording the ideal sound, it might be time to upgrade my microphone into something that records better as you move closer to the microphone. I was thinking of a Blue Yeti more so. There are two types of microphones. The ones that record when you're a little further away, and it records excuse me. And there's one microphone that records louder as you get closer to it. Kind of interesting, isn't it?
That makes perfect sense.
And then it's best to ensure that before recording occurs, I test out all equipment through OBS Studio in advance to make sure it's working properly. If not, I'm gonna need to troubleshoot or upgrade or replace the equipment. In most cases, it's best to troubleshoot the problem to ensure there's no need to upgrade, as those can usually be acquired later down the line.
Well, this must be an issue too on the creator side of it. How do you fund your new equipment?
Well, it's a complicated process. Of course, Dad is pretty strict about how my income goes.
Uh-huh.
Because as a college student, I need to be able to pay off tuition as well as any fees.
Yes, and your equipment isn't covered by scholarship grants, is it?
Nope. But that might be prone to change down the line.
Yes, there's other options available to you now.
Just wait until a few years pass. My situation might be a little bit different. So anyways, and this is completely optional, but I did fill out this field. I'm going to explain what college events or club meetings I attended this week. I actually contributed to the academic affairs boards. For my suggestion, I suggested that the MFG 103 class would be adjusted to better suit those with autism and disabilities. I understand that some disabilities make a person unable to weld, but for disabilities that don't impact a person where they are heavily impaired, they need to be given a chance. They simply need additional guidance and clarification. But however, on a scale of 1 to 10, how well does this get me involved? 10. I'm not going to take any response to this sub-question back. I stood for what I believed in, and that's what counts. I'm improving Oregon Tech day by day. The same applies to the students here. I'm a shining light upon those who enter within my range. Once they step near me, life bursts into them with every second they are around me. Just because things are a little tough on me now, doesn't mean I don't maintain my uplifting nature. At the same time, I understand when things get serious, which is one of those times. In those moments, I look at the important details and determine the right course of action to set things right, and I always stand my ground for those that I care about, and for Klamath Falls, and the United States themselves. Kind of hard to find people like me, isn't there?
Most definitely.
And can you relate to the experience of giving back?
I certainly can. I want to thank OIT for their disability programs. They open all doors for people with all disabilities.
Yes, they do. It's all about leadership and diversity. Oregon Tech is the most diverse college here. Did you know that?
I've heard nothing but good about them.
Yep, they're so diverse in so many ways. We even have international students there.
I did see that on the family alumni night.
Yes, all the flags that are at the college union, they represent the countries that each student went to. So there's someone that went to OIT from Argentina, one from Spain, even Japan.
There are lots of flags, which shows OIT is doing something right.
Yes. And it's all about that that broad range of students. Not many colleges have that, do they?
That's what's bringing in the diversity.
Mm-hmm. How diverse was school back in your day?
I went to a very, got me going now, diverse school.
Huh. How diverse was it?
Well, it was in Pacific Beach back in the 70s. So it had a wide range of people with different lifestyles.
Ah, different lifestyles.
From different cultures.
Ah, yes. diversity was so different back then, wasn't it?
It was.
How different would you say it scales to today?
Well, the technology has advanced beyond belief.
Yes. Technology is one of them. Indeed. At the same time, without it, I wouldn't become a content creator.
Unheard of in my time.
Yeah, I get that. I guess that's why this conversation isn't feeling as natural, is it?
No, you're making me give away my age.
Oh my goodness. Let's not speak about that, okay?
Okay,
But there are older students out there.
this is true. Never too late to go back to school or to learn something.
Mm-hmm. There are even parents that went back to college to support their families, to get a better paying job, and to support their kids, to prove to be a better role model.
Yes, and it's hard to work and go to school.
Yes. And you did say you wanted to attend a OIT at one point.
I thought about it.
And tell them what you were interested in doing.
Massage therapy, but it involves physical therapy and many other aspects
Mm-hmm.
I didn't expect.
Yeah, I get that. And we did have the spa and massager at our place, don't we?
Yes.
In fact, I do believe this is where we're recording right now.
Yes, it is.
Oh my goodness. I like to break the fourth wall like that.
Yeah. Now my home is a massage house.
Take your time.
Okay. I'm good with it.
Yeah. Anyways, hard to believe that your house kind of became a studio and a place to relax. Kind of crazy how this place gotten to this point.
Odd combination, but it works.
Yep. As the saying goes, whatever works, works. Yeah. But you don't see yourself attending, do you?
OIT,
Yeah.
not at this time.
Yeah. A lot of circumstances surrounding that.
Yes, as you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I guess we're both alike in a sense, aren't we?
Yep. Two peas from the same pod.
Yep. Especially when it comes to disabilities. It's like I mentioned earlier. Some disabilities may actually heavily impair a person to where they can't go to college, per se. But that's not to say you can't. I'm sure you have the drive for it.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. All you gotta do is make it natural. Like we are trying to right now.
Yes. And that is very hard to do.
Yes, especially in this very moment. What we're trying to come up with is to keep the conversation going. I mean, with a guest around and with the co-host, it would be a bit different, wouldn't it?
Yes. And I'm thinking this is the longest half hour of my life.
Same. I think this is the longest episode I might have recorded. And it's kind of hard to make the time pass. You know, sometimes time just happens to freeze over. And sometimes time just speeds up so fast you can't even keep up.
This is true. They say time goes by so slowly, yet time can do so much.
I get that. You know, there are some times where I wish time would slow down, and sometimes where I wish things would pick up the pace. And right now, this is a time where things would pick up. Or should pick up for that matter.
Yes. I hope the time just flies by now.
Yeah. Pray to God that happens.
Saved by the Bell.
Yep, perfect timing. That's all the time we have for this podcast. So next episode, hopefully Charlotte will be feeling better and ready to attend.
Get well soon, Charlotte.
Yep. From White Lightning and Waynesy0207, we send you our warm wishes. And hopefully, a more natural conversation. I might have to remove the earbuds. Of course, we know that the music will be playing back, but at least I won't be more nervous. Am I right?
Correct.
Okay, we should probably wrap this up. This is getting really awkward really fast. So with that being said, thank you so much for tuning in. And remember, there will be disappointments in life, but us humans have the power to turn those disappointments into accomplishments. This is Waynesy0207, aka Colton W. Hurst, aka the fourth wall breaking one-man army. Signing out, folks. Good night.